A huge thank you to all of you for being here. Yeah, I think we can safely say, you ready for some Scotland's wild medicine? What would it take for us to turn our health trajectory round from one of the worst in the world to one of the best? Do we have what it takes? Yes. So, for those of you that know me, I've been banging on about this for 64 years. So it's a long time. So it's really, really special to me that you're all here. But we're here for, we need to take action. Because when I met this man a couple of years ago now, he said to me, "You'll never heal Scotland without looking at the economics." And it just hit me right there. Because we know that poverty, poor health, and poor wealth are intrinsically linked. And if we as a nation want to rise and be proud of ourselves again, we absolutely have to look at the economy. Much as it pains me to say it, we absolutely do. So can you please give a big Heal Scotland welcome for Neil McEnroy.
Thanks, Lynn. Thanks very much. I'll get it stand up. Stand up. I used to speak to policy people and economic people, and some of this is really nervous audience. I'm really nervous. Be kind to me. And I've got notes, heaps of them. There's three types of economists: one that can count, one that can't. First joke, okay. I have a short speech. I hope my supply does not exceed demand. Not quite so good. Right. When commentators talk about the economy, BBC and all that, don't they? They talk about it as if it's a thing. It's like there, it's indubitable, rather than an opinion or a viewpoint. It's like talking about life as if it's a set product. Yeah. It kind of forgets about the infinite possibilities of what we have in our lives and in the economy. There's actually 9 schools of economic thought. It's quite broad. And there's one that we it's dominant one. It's called the classical, or neoclassical economic version, and a tiny band of that. So of all the different ways we could think about how the economy is run, we actually focus on a tiny wee bit of it. The toolbox, it's like we've got a toolbox full of lots of stuff, but we kind of just use the hammer. Yeah? There's lots of different tools we can use. All different pathways, all different blends. So there's a version that we've got, it's about free markets controlled by a few players, working if the world is cast iron laws. The economy is seen as something that's like a natural science that's kind of there and we just need to fit into it. But it's no. It's no. We can make the economy any way we want. And the economy we've got at the moment is no serving the planet. It's not serving lots of people. It's not serving our health. It's not. So the economy is what we call a social construct. It's not a natural science. We can construct it any way we want. And so I'm an economist that kind of thinks we need to construct an economy that generally works for us, that works for people and places, that is not ill health producing, but it's health producing. So what me and Lily are going to do, we're going to explore a little bit through a number of themes, trying to link the economy with health. But I've got a few more bits of paper to go through first. Interestingly, well, it is for me. It might not be, it's interesting. The word economy comes from oikonomos, which is a Greek word, which means keeper of the household. Yeah. The economy is something that is close to our hearts, to our communities, to our homes. And it's something we need to bring back home to us. And I think what's happened is the economy, when you hear about the economy, you're not an economist like me, you think, well, we've got to fit to it, it's jobs and all that. But actually, we need to make it more real and meaningful for us. and more relational to us as human beings. And that's the kind of economy as well. And I think we'll explore that moving forward. And the predominant take in the economy, kindness, wellness, compassion, is dismissed as unimportant or even non-existent, because the prevailing economists say it's about rational economic man make rational choices, not the beautiful irrationality that comes from human beings and emotion. No, it's like the technical mind. It's like the engineering mind. It's like the planner mind, usually men in pinstripe suits, yeah, who say, this is the way the world is. Kindness and compassion doesn't come into it. That doesn't come into it. But it should. It should be. Economy should spawn from us as human beings. So we need to start opening up the economic toolbox. Kindness, compassion, well-being is recognised as a fundamental aspect of humans and the nature of work and the nature of public places and the nature of how we interact. Let's talk about material and resources. The prevailing route we take is linear. We take it, we make it, we use it, waste. Obsolescence of fridges, all the stuff, it's kind of planned for, and that'll be gone in 10 years and it's obsolete. The new way we need to think in this kind of economy I'm talking about, needs to be more circular, the right to repair, incorporating the idea that things have got a life beyond their so-called obsolescence. Look at food. Often prices ignore the cost of production, like transport. Food doesn't pay living wages or to suppliers or protect suppliers. Unhealthy addictive food is cheaper than healthy food. Smallhold producers are price takers at the beck and call of big supermarkets. What we're talking about here is an economy that's more about the food in season. It's about food that's locally grown. It's food that's regenerative, cruelty-free. We're talking about fair value through suppliers, not the big supermarkets squeezing those suppliers. So when we think about well-being in the economy, we're talking about an economic system which reflects the full beauty of life in all its forms. It's about how an economy snuggles with us, not something that we fit into. It must be an economy that serves all of us. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to go through some concepts in economics, but also in terms of well-being. Yeah. And the first one we're going to talk about is wealth. So, what is wealth?
Your health.
Your health. Yeah. Is it money? Nah, it's not. There's a beautiful thing seen the other day. It was like street interviews with older people and asking them, what's the secret to a great life? And none of them said money. They all said health or family or what have you. But what's important about wealth, and we're talking here about wealth flows, particularly, and I'm going to ask Lilith for a minute and talk about this, the flows of wealth. We need to think seriously about wealth flows. In economics, we think a lot about flows of wealth. How much money do you think there is in the world? Roughly. No, give it to us. It's in the trillions. How many trillions?
100.
No, it's fractional reserve currency. It's only numbers on a screen or on a piece of
True.
paper.
Yeah. Yeah, if you would take all those numbers on the screen, it would be.
Back or
Sure.
Bradbury pound.
Sure, nice. Right, yeah. Well,
They got rid of that quickly, didn't they?
yeah. Well, if you were to take all those numbers on the screen, there's 40 trillion. 12 zeros. How much private wealth is there?
Well, the Rothschilds have got about 15 to 20.
Sorry, they don't calculate it well. It's actually
Sure, that's what I'm talking about.
common mortgage is converted to equity.
Sure,
So it's contract and equity.
sure. I'm talking about equity.
But
Yeah.
of course, they keep that hidden.
Aye, they do. But if they were to all realise their equity, they would have 400 trillion private wealth. 1% of the world, yeah, the people of the world, own the same amount as half the population of the world. Amazing concentration of wealth. 10 billionaires own 1 trillion. Sorry, that's in the USA. 10 billionaires own 1 trillion. If they were to use that money, it would buy all the food eaten at home and all food and takeaways. 10 billionaires could buy it all for the whole of the USA. We are now as unequal in this country as we are from the 14th century. There's no shortage of wealth. It's just really badly distributed. Like rain, it lands in a place, it flows to the people providing goods, workers, and then it's captured in profit and hoovered up. So we need to think wealth more about as a virtuous flow. Where does it land? Where does it go? Where does it flow to? And that's the basis to thinking about broader ideas of community wealth and how we make that more distributed and fair. So, Lilia, over to you. Thinking about wealth and this flows, how does you think that relates to the whole idea of well-being and wellness?
Talking about
It's actually exchange. The community is actually the exchange of energy.
Thank you. So, what Neil was saying there, I think, from my perspective, obsessed about our health picture, it's why did we ever think we knew better than Mother Nature? Why did we not? The food that's get pushed up through the soil, off the trees, off the bushes, and we started going, well, let's get more of that. Let's colour that. Let's poison that. Let's make more money out of that. When in actual fact, everything was provided as we needed it, when we needed it, where we needed it. And then we turned it into a product to make more money. So, and then seasons, we don't really have the seasons now, thanks to things like central heating and artificial lighting. So our body, which is nature, is part of this unified field and interacts with the unified field, and the energy should flow through us. We've cut the energy flow off by putting plastic in the soles of our shoes, designer sunglasses, keeping that powerful frequency from your eyes and your pineal gland, clothes that are full of petrochemicals. I mean, we really could have made more of a mess of it if we'd actually set out to try. So the flow of energy is something that is really key when it comes to energy healing, which is really the way that we're moving away from the more toxic treatments. This is my dream, where we can really actually understand why the body's malfunctioning, why is the energy not flowing. And one of the key things really that we talk about food and and that's clearly important, but what about the way we are? How we are and how we allow energy to flow through us? Because that's possibly going to be one of the bigger challenges. Can we be loving and kind to each other? Can we allow that energy to flow? Are we putting our energy in the wrong places? You know, if you follow me at all, you'll know how I feel about complaining, blaming, and shaming others. It doesn't work, and how we're going to move. We have to take responsibility and autonomy for where our energy flows. Through the body, we have the meridian system, we have the aura, we have our hearts that are giving off this incredible energy, giving and receiving energy. And a lot of the time, if we're busy in our minds, we're not even realising the energy flow. So Carolyn Mace, if you know her work, it's very much about where is that energy going? Are you leaking energy? Have you got a loss of energy? Is it flowing out to the wrong places? So it's just exactly the same language that Neil uses. And, you know, the dream for Heal Scotland, every penny profit we get here this weekend is going to create healing centres, oases all over this country. And that's going to happen, I can assure you, as long as I'm still here. And I need to shout out for Kirsten, who's done a phenomenal job selling this festival out. So that's what we're doing. We're going to be part of this flow. We need to have places where people can come and convalesce, where people can come and learn, where people can come and be part of the like-minded community. Because if we're going to have this energy flowing, and we're all going to, all of us are going to matter. You know, my friend had to pay for her daughter to get her tonsils out, $3,000. That's where we're going. So we really have to. We don't have a choice. This is not just it's a nice wee festival and you're going to have a riot, of course. But we're actually talking about something that is quite serious. We have to change. We have to make the changes. Does anybody think who's the other guy going to do it for us? Where do you think their energy is going to flow to? So let's talk. We'll go on to the next topic.
Yeah, great. The Confucius said money was round when it rolls away. But no, you see what we're trying to do here? We're trying to link the economists where they are.
Yes.
God was perfect. And trying to link it. The next thing we'll talk about is what is enough? What is enough? Wealth is the defining feature of all economies. Who has it? Where does it go? Who gets it? It comes from an old English word, weller. Any old English people here in the audience? It means happiness, well-being, and prosperity and abundance. That's what wealth actually means in the old English term. Now, we know what's very interesting about enough. People, I've given this talk before, and there's I don't know, it's just this hair sharp guy wanting to take away my mobile phone and talking to me and wanting to live in the hills. You know, yeah, there's nothing too bad about that. But yeah, but what is this? What in economics terms, what happens is once you've got enough to house yourself, feed yourself, you have a home. What happens is with happiness, it gets to a certain point, and then you didn't get any happier after a certain level. Yeah. So you get to a certain level of base security and enough, and then no matter how much more money you have, you're not going to be any more happier. It's a law of diminishing returns, as they say in economics. Yeah. So the trick here is knowing when you're understanding the economy of enough, and then getting to a stage. And once you get to a point where there's enough base level of decency, then you max on something else. What do you max on? Health, happiness, doing good shit, nice stuff. I've got this book. I lost this book, and I found this book again. Stone Age Economics, it's called. It's a riveting read. I found it by Matthew Salins. It's a really boring book, but the core of Stone Age Economics, a brilliant story. It basically says in Stone Age, you think what was Stone Age times like? It must have been like awful, like awful. You know, like starving, freezing, you know, and like eating stone, you know, hellish. But apparently it was abundant. What they did was it was so much nature, and also there's none of the problems with them. They just went down to the river, got lots of fish, came back, eat them, and then just had a party. Stone Age economics was abundant. It was there enough. So there's something beautiful about knowing when you've got enough and then flip it to do other stuff. And I think that's really resonant with this whole wellness agenda too.
Absolutely. Often when I'm working with people and helping them to make change in their health picture in the field, that's the question we ask: am I doing enough? How many protocols are enough? Especially if you've been given a stage 4 diagnosis or an incurable diagnosis, that's the stress. Am I doing enough? And what is enough? And it's another subject we're going to touch on. It's what is sustainable. And the big problem with health is very obvious. If you've been given a scary diagnosis or prognosis, you can't help going away into the future and wondering what's going to happen. And that's a big problem that we have, isn't it? Where actually some people are now working to pay for a pension that they might never get, especially nowadays, the goons that we've got in government. Cut that out.
You're lying, so.
So we absolutely, what is enough, and can we, when do we know? Because it's something that can be very personal. Am I doing enough protocols? What about coffee enemas? What about organic juices? What about EFT? All these different things. And what can end up happening, of course, is that you're even more stressed than you were before. And it was something I became very aware of, that people are coming to me, usually young mums, stage 4 cancer, and they're absolutely out their minds with worry about leaving their kids. And then I come in and say, well, you need to change everything. You need to move house, you need to leave your partner, you need to do this. I mean, it's just, I realised very quickly I was giving them more stress. And this is why we need a place for people to come. Highly recommend that you learn all about your incredible energy system, energy vibrating massive cells, before you would ever get near that place. But if you do, then we have to be able to teach people. We're not treating people anymore, we're teaching and training people how to look after themselves. Because it's the one thing, again, if you know me, it's absolute, we have to have autonomy for ourselves. The person who cares most about your body is you. And don't go letting anybody else tell you it's not enough. And we're now, faith and fear, that's my big thing. Living in faith feels so much nicer regardless of what's going to happen tomorrow. Living in fear destroys the body. So if you're worried that you're not doing enough, then you're in that contracted state. Remember, all the wee cells start contracting and darkening, and you're actually making a situation worse. And that's the issue with, if you don't have any money, and I've been quite poor, where you're like, what am I going to get for the dinner? You're in survival. And what happens when you're in survival is that your IQ drops, your cells contract, you darken, you crab it, and you can't see the solutions. So and then you can get on the hamster's wheel and start going round, and then you've maybe got plenty, but you're still on that habitual way of thinking, and that's what Neil's talking about as well. What is enough, and how can we change our economy? Because we have to think about every single human on our landmass. We can't just pick and choose. We're all in this together, literally. Quantum physics. What's the difference between God and quantum physics? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. We're interconnected. If we do not look after each other, we have to look after each other. And people as well. I mean, I think you said something there about that made me think about, what was it? Like, there's a shelf life, and I'm kind of getting to that shelf life. Well, what good are you in the community anymore if you're not gorgeous and bouncing around? And we really have to address that. This whole issue around, you're not on the garbage heap just because you're over 60. You're just starting to get into your prime. So, can you take us away with the next?
Yeah, good, excellent. And it's interesting that there's evidence that says that if you're poor, right, and you live in an area where there's people that are very rich, you feel your poverty more and you're more unhappy. Whereas if you're living in poor places and you're surrounded by other poor people, you actually have less of that kind of threat and fear. So there's that, say, behavioural aspect of having enough in the people that are around you. I'm not saying we should be poor. I'm just saying it's important to recognise that too much in economy and too much excess in health terms is no good for us. The third thing we want to talk about is what we've called own yourself. Own yourself. It's a come on yourself, but also own yourself. I work across many places in the world. I work for an American think tank in a day job, and I'm trying to make an economy better, talking about this sort of stuff. So, albeit not to this sort of audience normally. You've been very nice to me so far, so thank you. And everywhere you go, you have people saying, this economy is not working for us. We need to take control of the economy. We need change. This desire, this hunger is as old as humankind. In fact, it's common sense. We kind of are human social beings. It's a curse, but also a quality of us, is we want to take control of things. We want to feel that we're in charge. It's a part of our eyes are in front of our heads. Human beings. We're always searching, wanting to control and do stuff. Yeah, it can be negative, but also positive. We want to be in control. We want to do stuff. It's common sense. It's just what we are. But in some contexts, that idea to be control stuff can be deeply subversive and radical. It's people power. People power is the thing here. People power is key. For us to be in control is like all people being in control of our own destiny, our own lives, our own economy. That's kind of key. We need to enhance that. And it's called something. It's called economic democracy. Not political democracy, not voting, but economic democracy. That's owning yourself, owning stuff. It's not big corporate business, but it's consumers, workers, communities owning stuff. Communities owning shops, community owning assets, community owning land, community owning wind. That is kind of key. Own yourself. Now, what's lovely about owning stuff is that if you own something, it's sort of permanent. It's ours. You can't really take it away unless somebody else buys it, but it's ours. It's not like a job. You can lose a job. Yeah. You can also lose your asset, but it's harder. To own an asset is the business. And we know in academic terms and evidence base that if you own something and you have that sense of control over your own destiny by owning an asset, you're more likely to be happier. You're more likely to have greater well-being. So owning is key. Yeah. I've got more, but it's laughing. So yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect, because it's the same with the body, isn't it? It's taking ownership and feeling. I think with I lived in Malta, and they've got one of the biggest voter turnouts in the world. Something like 98% people turn out to vote because they really believe, well, they know that their vote matters. And I think that's a big problem nowadays. We're just like, well, what's the point? We've got a bit apathetic and etc. And maybe with the body too, not fully understanding how incredible the body is, and waking up to this energetic side and really owning the fact that you've got this opportunity to be here, to experience this world through this body, through these cells, and what you can do with this and the fun that you can have when you start to really learn how to manage your emotions. And there is no pill in the world that can fix that. Maybe for a wee bit on a Saturday night. But in actual but for actually being able to understand that you're an alchemist and you have the power to own your own chemistry, your own electromagnetic field, and that you can put something out into this room right now just by simply changing what you're thinking and what you're feeling, loving the gratitude I've got for everybody that is here, that's showing up. I've said this before, I can't feel Scotland myself. It would have been done by now if I could. It's about people standing up and owning it and being willing. And there's some people that can't do that, and we'll help them. But the people that are well enough and awake enough, we have basically sleepwalked into a situation where we're getting the piss ripped right out of us. And it is high time that we take that back. It is time. And it's for the people, by the people, as Neil says. So Neil's going to be around. He's doing another talk tomorrow. Did you know that? I like to surprise him. You'll be around for the rest of the day. So anybody who wants to, because we want to give it solutions, what are we going to do and how are we going to do it and who's going to help? So Neil's going to be around for you to chat with the community wealth building, which really was a mind-blowing experience for me. It's just spend your money in your community. It's not rocket science. Help each other out. It's sharing by literally. And now if I go to Aldi and Owen, I think, I can't really do this because of that Neil. Come back and spend my money and help it. And that's what charity does begin at home. We need to be looking after each other and our small businesses because they're getting decimated. So anyway, you know, we could go on. Showing up is the most amazing thing, and owning it. If you have the energy and the power, and you clearly have. So we are now going to do a little bit of breath work because we're going to get ourselves into a wild medicine state. My darling friends, the Endeavours, are going to do some sounds. So if you guys want to come in, if there's seats up the back here that you can probably curry in somewhere. If anybody is just found out they're pregnant, they need to be careful with sound and breath. Again, I think you're big enough to breathe and listen to some sound without any real education from me. Please. If you guys could come right forward, that's awesome. We need to maximise space so we can get as many cells in here, vibrating cells as we possibly can. Yeah, if you do, with the breath work, we're not going to go too mental, but feel free just to start and stop your body, your cells, own it. And then we're going to move into some sound. If anybody finds the sound too much, feel free to put your fingers in your ears. I'm actually serious. And also, if you can't enjoy the ecstasy that's going to be oozing out of you, then you can just get outside if that feels more comfortable for you. Yes. Okay, is everybody in? Can you settle down as quickly as possible because we're got a tight schedule? Lady G, are you coming in? Yes. Okay, has anybody not done any conscious connected breathing before? Oh, good, that's like virgins. So we're just going to do a very simple breath. It's like 2 sniffs in and 1 out. So it's going to just look like this. You can lie down for this, and we're going to do some breathing. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. Please, if you start to feel lightheaded and tingly, enjoy it. If it gets too much, then just pull it back. And then we're going to, these guys are going to do some sounds for us. So my suggestion is just to go for it and enjoy this wild medicine. Ready? Yeah. Okay, so ready, just start with me. Keep it going. And just keep going with it. And we'll start to feel the body change, some tingling as some energy starts to flow, if you allow it. Allow yourself to come inside the body and feel that beating heart, that powerful organ. As all the heart and the tent connect, and as the cells start to mimic and resonate, and we start to feel the gratitude, feel the cells expanding with the sheer joy of being alive. Allow today to be enough. Allow you to be enough. Keep breathing. Feel the blood coursing round the body. The nervous system relaxing and expanding as you release the old to make way for the new. Come on. Feel the joy. The tears may come. Fantastic. Everything's welcome at this festival. Allow the body to expand. Allow the cells to feel, to be open, to receive the love, the gratitude for Scotland's wild medicine. Two more. Now all the way in. And hold it. Hold it and observe. Observe the alchemy. Observe the body's magic. The innate intelligence. Feel, be in this present moment. And let it go. And allow yourself to dissolve into the chair, into the floor, into Pachamama. Allow yourself to let go of anything that no longer serves you. All limitations given to us, inherited or created by us. Use this opportunity to let it all go. And some more. Come on. I can see a few of you hanging on there. Let it dissolve and release. As we go back in to another round of breathing. Same again. Come on, mean it. It's your cells, your energy mass. On your cells. On your cells. You decide what to keep. You decide what to release. You are the power. You are enough. I'm going to speed it up. In with the light, out with the shite. Feel the heart opening. Feel your courage expand. Come on, you can do this. There's nothing to fear. Move into faith. You have this. The power within you. Allow it to shine. Expand into these unconditional love frequencies that are always there for you to choose. See these bellies. Feel that body getting lighter. 3 more. All the way in. All Okay, and squeeze that energy and hold it. Feel the change in state. Allow the energy, the innate intelligence, the divine consciousness to flow. Take your power. Observe, witness the divine intelligence. And let it go. Let it all go. Let it all go. Let it all go. Dissolve into Mother Earth. It takes courage to let go. Let go. And one last round, and we're just going to do it faster. Remember your body, your breath. You can just lie and absorb the frequencies. Bring everything in. Here we go. Expansion, elevation, gratitude, unconditional love. What do you choose? Three more, two more, one more, and all the way in. Squeeze it. Squeeze it. Feel the alchemy. Expand. Allow. Witness. Witness the power. Feel the energy. And let it all go. Allow yourself to just dissolve. Dissolve, and we're going to do some humming because we're really going to vibrate these cells. We're going to get high. So breathing all the way in and hum it out. Any key you feel. Come on, nobody's watching. After everybody on the social media platform. And again. Feel the vibration of how the cells expand as you hum that energy. Purring like a cat, expanding your microtubules. Letting go of everything that no longer serves. Hum your cells well. Get into tune with the universe, into tune with every other cell in this room. You are the master of the alchemy. Take your power. Keep going. Feel the body vibrate. Really experience the energy that you are. Become more wave than particle, and expand your heart energy out to everyone in this tent and beyond. Let yourselves go, expanding into that energy. Feel the unconditional love for this beautiful place, Tarbert Holiday Park, for the nature, and for each other, and for all the incredible workshops you're going to experience, the amazing food you're going to eat. How lucky are we? Don't be shy, don't be hum shy. Let that vibration resonate through that energy mass you call the body, and release everything that no longer serves you. Let it go. And let it go some more. And let it go some more. And I'm going to hand you over now to Zen Devers.